What is up, YouTube? I am Waterboy here with TeamDemise and Haphazard Gaming. I'm going to be showcasing you my World Chalice deck profile. I really like this deck. I think it's very fun. I have it down as consistent as I think I can get it. This is what I personally play. You don't have to, but you know, there are many different builds that you can go with this, and all of them work very well. I mean, this is just what I feel. I'll let you know some card choices that you could do at the end. Things that I suggest staying away from whenever you're building the deck, and I'll explain a little bit about what each card does and like how they can combo with each other, and I'll let you know about some hands that you want to keep an eye out for. So getting on to the deck profile, I'm going to start with main deck. I have the World Legacy World Chalice. It's the best, one of the best cards in the deck. It's one of the top 4 best cards in the deck. It's very powerful in what you can do with it. However, if you don't get it, I mean, it's not the end of the world. There's 3 different ways that you can perform the Link Lock in this deck. There's the World Chalice, the Cyberse, and then there's kind of the mix, which is really weird, and I'll talk about that at the end. So, what he does is if you get him, that means you're going to do the World Chalice links, in which case you get the draw 3. It's a very powerful card. It's always your second normal summon if you're able to get it, and when you do normal summon this card and send it to the graveyard, you get to special summon 2 World Chalices from your deck, except himself, of course. That's very powerful, and it just allows you to extend your plays even further. Oh, sorry about that. It's very powerful in what it can do, and during the turn that it's not sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard and then add a World Legacy card, which is actually really good. I mean, especially with recently, I just found out today that they have announced a World Chalice Monster Reborn that lets you special summon anything to a zone that you have a Link monster pointing to. That's very powerful, and this card makes it searchable. Of course, along with the rest of the World Legacy archetype, but World Legacy World Chalice, I feel, is going to be one of the most direct ways of getting it, because it's very powerful. I mean, doing that, I mean, you can just get rid of something during your turn 3, send this, search the Monster Reborn, and then special summon something like Ningirsu, which is really powerful. World Legacy World Chalice is slowly going up there on how good of a card it is. I mean, it's really good, but it's getting better. Next, I have 3 copies of Lee. Lee is a really good card, but there are some issues with Lee. I mean, it sucks she's once per turn, and I personally hate that she's a fairy. I mean, I like it, but at the same time I hate it. Because I've often found myself with times when I need to summon Ib, and I have 2 fairies, but that's really what I'm saying. That's just me being nitpicky. If she wasn't a fairy, she'd be a lot less powerful, but, you know, When she's a normal special summon, add a World Chalice monster from deck in your hand, except you can't search yourself. I keep on thinking that you can't search yourself, but you can. And once per turn, you can send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard, add her back to hand. Really good. That's a great effect. 2 copies of Guard Dragon, or Dog as people call him. Dog is really good. He's a hand trap that protects your Link monsters and destroys a card. And if he's in the graveyard, you can banish him to special summon a normal and defense to Link monster zone. Really good. Helps extend plays. I often use this effect a lot. 3 copies of Chosen. Chosen is really the only one you need to play. Some people only play 2, but I've always found myself needing the 3rd one. It's up to personal preference, and the reason why you play Chosen is just because he has the most ways of special summoning out of the deck. Before, it was Beckoned, and you would use him to perform a loop that would let you draw Exodia and have enough DK. It was actually pretty consistent. I mean, it's the same 3-card opening that you do now to perform a Link Lock, so I mean, it's not hard. It's consistent. So I mean, it's kind of why Emerald's banned, along with other things, but Emerald needed to go. Lastly, on to the next, we have the Archlord Christia. I really like Archlord Christia in this deck. I think that it's an incredibly powerful card, and I often try and get Christia on the field as well, so I can't be Kaiju'd. And it stops him from special summon, so if I can't complete a Link Lock, I can just summon Christia, and they can't really do much. it's just, Christia is really powerful. Plus as well, the fact that it can let me add a fairy back to hand is also really powerful, so I can add Lee back to hand. One of the situations I'm talking about, just like, if Lee wasn't a fairy, I couldn't use this, and Christia would be worse than what it actually is in this deck, but Christia is really strong. Next I play 2 copies of Venus. Most people think you play 3 copies of her. I don't really advise it. I always found myself drawing the 3rd one. I always saw myself drawing 2, and it's just an inherent brick. I think 2 is best, especially considering the fact that I don't like opening her. I'd much rather special summon her. I'd much rather open Lee than Venus. But that's just my personal opinion. And then we have 3 mystical shine balls. Of course you gotta play 3. It's very powerful, but it is an inherent brick if you draw it. You can still special summon it, but I mean, it's one less card that you have that could have been something else, so, you know, it kinda sucks, but oh well, it's still not too terribly bad. Exodius is another card I like. It's very powerful, but I don't think you need to play 3 of it. I think 2's good at where it's at. It's good to play 3, and I would, but it's the same reason why I don't play 3 Venus. I always draw 2 of them together, and it sucks. I mean, hell, even now I still draw 2 Exodius, and I played it at 1, but I think that you still need the second one, so you gotta play that inherent brick, so, could be worse. 1 Gamma-Seal, I love Gamma-Seal. Gamma-Seal in this deck is ridiculous. You often just give yourself the Gamma-Seal in defense, and then you normally have 5 counters, so you have at least 2 negates off him, and whatever else. I mean, they're not gonna be able to do much. I mean, what are you gonna do? And it's really hard to get past the board if you have the Link Lock and Gamma-Seal. However, I somehow always end up Link Lock, Gamma-Seal, Christia, and I really like the board. I love that board, and I think that's incredibly great. If I can eventually, I will show you a combo with this in real life, because I can't actually do it on here. It takes too long. But yeah, I think Gamma-Seal is a must-be in this deck. 1 Dandelion, another must-be in this deck. I love Dandelion. Dandelion in this deck is just so powerful. The token generation makes him really good. I mean, special summon the 2 fluff tokens, you've got 2 mystical shine balls, that's 2 Ib. I mean, easy as that. It's not hard. I mean, it's very powerful and it's consistent, so I mean, hey, that's pretty good. Shit. Lastly, I played 2 copies of Lazuli. I always found myself drawing the 1, so I bumped it up to 2, and I like Lazuli a lot in this deck. If I send Lazuli to grave off Lee, I get a +2 then. Very powerful, and I really think that Lee's, if you're playing Gem Knight, you gotta play Lazuli. I think that it's really great. Next we have 3 copies of Transmodify, starting off with the spells. There's 23 monsters and 17 spells, my bad for not mentioning. 3 Transmodify I feel is a must-be in this deck. You want to open Lee Transmodify rather than anything else. Lee Transmodify on its own is a Link Lock. Bottom line. That's honestly it. It's a 2-card Link Lock. Most cards are 2-card Link Locks, honestly. But Lee Transmodify is a very consistent 2-card Link Lock. It's very powerful. Some people don't play it. It's up to personal preference. I feel that it's a 3 of. I played 3 copies of Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion is a very powerful card. If you don't get Lee, you can send Lee to grave off of it, and then get it back to your hand. You get the Lazuli effect, and then you get a normal summon. Pretty good. Last, for the technical 3 ofs, I played 2 Waterfront and 1 Terraforming. Here's the reason behind this, and I found this out. You play 2 Waterfront and 1 Terraforming for the sole fact that if you open 1 Waterfront and Terraforming, it's not the worst thing ever. It sucks, yes, because you have 2 Waterfronts, but it deck thins. It's better to have 2 waterfronts than 2 terraformings and only 1 target, because then it's an inherent brick to draw the second one and you can't search it with anything. It's literally just a dead card, not worth your time. So it's 2 waterfronts and 1 terraforming. This is what works out best, because I mean, even if you do draw 2, I mean, granted, you want to shoot yourself, but it's not the end of the world. And yes, you only have 1 target, but you only need that 1 target, so there's no need to worry about it. Everything will be all good in the hood. Also, waterfront protects itself, so you know it's really good. And it gives you the tokens you need to use game seal effects, so hey, that's pretty good. Play 2 copies of Heart. If I don't open Exodius, Heart's a good secondary way to open it. It gives you the World Chalices back to hand, which is better. And it gives you battle protection as well, which you don't really have, but it's still really good. Heart is a great card, so don't count it out. Most people only play 1. 2's not bad. I mean, it does suck to open 2, but I mean, you can set it as bluff back row, and your opponents are just like, what the fuck is kind of build is he playing? I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's like I said. I mean, you can use both Aegiuses, and normally you're not going to open it, you're going to search it out. Or if you do open it, you normally open 1. That's my case anyway. I've never really found myself working with the second one, so I don't know yet. But if I do, next time I do the deck profile, I will let you know. 2 copies of Twin Twisters, because I hate back rows. And for the 4 singles, 1 Unexpected Die, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Foolish, and 1 E-Telly. I do not suggest playing 2 Unexpected Dies. I did that in the beginning, hated it. You can only use Unexpected Die at the beginning. Yes, you do want to open. It's good to open, but it sucks, but it's good. It's really weird. Situational is the best way to say it. It's good, but it's not, and it's an easy side target, so I mean, not really too much to worry about. Soul Charge is pretty obvious why, and if you're going second, it's an easy side out. Foolish is pretty good, because if you want something really badly, Foolish it, add it back to your hand. Best way to really put it. And Emergency Teleport is like Unexpected Die, but better. If I could play 2, I'd totally take out the Unexpected Die to play the second E-Telly, but since I can't, not the worst thing ever. Oh well. Sorry about that. On to the extra deck. 1 Gemknight Seraphonite. It's one of the best cards in the deck. It gives you the additional normals, but you don't really use its effect. You can't use the effect of Seraph and Induct in the same turn, and I thought that was the end of the world. I was about ready to sell the deck, but I took more time, studied it, and figured out how to get around it. It's good. It's not. It gives you materials that you need, and that's about it. 3 Induct. You normally summon this first if you can. You want to. It's how you start off everything. Induct is a great card. The additional normal, the special summon, he's really good. And he does have the other effect that if this card at the start of the damage step battles a monster, destroy that opponent's monster. It's alright. You never use it. You only use the additional normal. And that's about it. 2 Ib, the battle protection is, well, the effect protection is really good. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effect if it's linked. And that's, well, your opponent can't target this with card effects when it's when it's linked with a card. And it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect when it's linked. It's not bad. Pretty good. I mean, there are worse. And the fact that it special summons is also really good. 1 Room. Room is really good. It just sort of helps extend plays, and that's about it. Once you get to draw 3, you summon the first Firewall, special summon the second, or whatever World Chalice from your hand, tribute it, summon Ningirsu, that's the end of his use. Then you just use him as link fodder, and that's about it. And then lastly, for the World Chalices, 1 Ningirsu. Ningirsu is one of the best cards in the deck. draw 3 or draw 2. You never just get the draw 1. I've never had it anyway. He's the draw 3 or draw 2, non-targeting, non-destruction, special summons. He's really good. He honestly does deserve the boss monster place of the deck, and I'm really happy that he's a really good card. The only problem I have with him is just, I wish that he was a quick effect and you could do it during your opponent's turn. Just giving him that little bit of extra use to just say, hey, I am going to keep this Ningusu. But that's just my complaint. If that were actually the case, World Chalices would be a lot better and probably be topping. Onto the Cybers. Like I was saying, if you don't get the World Chalices, you do the Cybers link, and that gets you the draw 2. If you're doing the World Chalice link, you get the draw 3. 2 copies of Link Spider. It's really good. I've always found myself needing the second one, and I've found myself wanting a third one, but every time I needed the third one, I just added one back and then used it. Really good. It's a way so if you do not get the World Chalices to begin with, it still allows you to continue your plays. So, Link Spider's really good. Proxy Dragon, just a little bit more protection. He's the generic Ib without the Ib effect. So you don't get the special summon, which sucks, but you can play through it. 1 Decode Talker, the Arum of the situation, but not really. He gives you the protection, negation, and destruction. He gains attack, and he has his uses, but I hate the up arrow. 1 Trigate Wizard, I always get him to link 2. I sometimes get him to link 3, but I've never really come to the situation where I did it. Normally the link 2 with the Gamma Seal always does what I need it to do. So, it kinda sucks, but it's alright. And then lastly 2 Firewall Dragons. Firewall Dragon is amazing, which allows you to continue your plays and get this far. Firewall is just a very powerful card. So, keep a watch out for it. Now, I'm not going to talk about the side, because this is not really going to matter. Ban list is coming around soon, so things are going to change. Maybe Firewall might get hit or something, but I don't expect it to. It's still too quick for us. We still need a couple more packs before Firewall can actually be hit. And I don't know. No other deck is really playing Brilliant Fusion, so I'm not worried about that. Maybe, I don't know. Decode's pretty good, but, But I'm going to talk about card choices to avoid now. Don't play Rescue Rabbit. It's good and everything, don't get me wrong, but Rescue Rabbit does not get you as far as Elite Transmodify does. 2 cards, yes, but it gets you further. You can do things with the, Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit is more if you want to focus on the Cybers rather than the World Chalices. It's not bad, but not good. Okay. Don't avoid putting traps on the main deck. Just avoid it. It's not worth your time. It bricks more, and it seems like it's good, but it's not. Do not play any other kaiju, really. You can. Let me rephrase this. If you're going to be playing a kaiju, have a very good reason, because Gamma Seal is really the only one I see that you really need, because of the I'm sorry about that. Gamma Seal is the only one I find I need for the negate, banish, and that's about it. Normally if I get that, it's pretty good, so I don't really need the other kaijus. Never really found myself needing it, so there's that. Hand traps are good, yes, but hand traps are only good going second. The really only one that you need going first is your Guard Dragon if you open it. Other than that, you're not going to really need it. I mean, because I would honestly say you could take the Max C challenge with this deck and do pretty fine. The only card that I think would hurt me, well, hand traps do hurt me. You know, getting that Ash, getting the Droll Lock, because I do search, getting the Gamma, those do hurt. They're all once per turn, but they do hurt. You can play through them, but it's really difficult to. So you just have to watch carefully and make sure your opponent's not hitting what they need to. Because you have ways around it. You're thinking, oh, I only have this one play. There are so many different plays that you can pull off in this deck, so if one way doesn't work, remember, you have about 2 or 3 other ways that you can do the plays with what you have. It's not the most efficient, it kind of gives you a loss in resource, but you can still get at least a link lock normally with nearly any hand you open. However, now I'm going to warn you about cards to watch out for. If you open World Legacy and Lee, that is a bad hand. Now that's really weird because normally you think, oh hey, that's really good. You'll just summon the Lee and then search the normal. And then you go to, oh wait, you can't do anything. You want to open Lee Transmodify in that situation then. So that way you can get the Venus, get the Shine Balls, and then you're good. Then you have the other World Chalice, and then it gives you more ahead. Lee Transmodify. Biggest 2 card combos I'm going to tell you about. Lee Transmodify. Watch out for it. If you open Terraforming, really good. Because that gives you the Waterfront, it deck thins, then you get the Search the Kaiju. So again, deck thin. If you open a Luzuli, wait to use it for Lee because then you get the +2. And that's really all I gotta tell you to watch out for. I mean, and also, if you open Foolish Venus, that is also a link lock. That's the draw 2 with the Cybers, but it gives you the draw 2 link lock at least. So do not count that out. That is still really powerful. And that's it that I can tell you about this deck. I mean, it's very powerful in what it can do. It does have that inherent fragileness, but it's sort of like DDDs. If it goes off strong. If it doesn't, it can make boards. It still is powerful, but it's not something like, it's not invoked strong. It's not Pendulum strong. Actually, one of your hardest matchups is Pendulum, so who knows, maybe they'll get hit, maybe things will change. But thank you for listening to my deck profile. Please let me know what you like, what you didn't, what you think I should change, any questions that you have. Just let us know. I'm happy to hear and talk about this deck. Thank you for tuning in, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Waterboy signing out.